Peace to the tribe, welcome family. It's your boy Lightbringer, aka the Hermit, aka your boy AD. So tonight we're here and we have the tree of life right in front of us on this beautiful diagram, right? So we're really diving in to the realities of the infinite, right? So in the tree of life is basically this is basically our world right here, right? Put in a small diagram for us to understand. You can say basically this is the essence of our soul. It's 4 parts of our soul, right? So this whole tree represents that. Tree of life represents our soul. So there's 4 trees, 4 trees of lives, and those 4 trees represent the elements, and which is represented in a suit, just like any cars, right? So suits are cups, water. You have wands, which is fire. You have pentacles, which is earth, and then you have swords, which is this. With this air, you're thinking, right? So I bring those up because this helps us understand our world, our reality, how certain things are built, just certain understanding. Because words and letters create our reality. We're nothing without words. Because remember, in the beginning, what created everything? The word. So before I unload you with a whole bunch of jargon just like I did in the beginning, and before we just kind of wrap our head around this big diagram, because there's a lot to say to it. You have to explain Kether, Chokma, Benai, Gebra, Chest, Tethra, Ha, Netshot on your side, and then down the road Malkuth, which is 10. Now, first and foremost, you need to understand that you are a higher being. It's hard. You are God. And this representation, this tree is a representation of God, is a representation of reality, is a representation of you, a representation of your body. Looking at this whole diagram, Kether will be the beginning, your head, and Malkuth, number 10, will be all the way to your feet. Now, I really brought this up to really talk about Tazadi being Aries and Hay being Aquarius. And I know it's kind of random. I know I haven't explained to you what Tarot is and what is the tree of life and all that things and whatsoever. But the real thing that you need to get in mind is understanding Hebrew letters, understanding the zodiac, understanding the planetary alignments, because without those, Tarot wouldn't be. Tarot is based off on astrology and Qabbalah. In Qabbalah, this system is made off the 32 trumps of Tarot. There are multiple paths. There are 22 paths altogether, if I said that right. And I will be sure that and to make sure. But I just want us to really understand the beginning to end. But I really want to focus on Hey, and I'm sorry. Tis, yeah, Hey and Tizadi. Yeah, because the star is Hey, and Tizadi is Aries. Now, the reason why I say you need to understand the Hebrew letters because the Hebrew letters are assigned to the cards. So all these letters you're seeing are the Hebrew letters which are assigned with the card. So right here you have Aleph. And Aleph is represented to the full, right? Which release to Kether, and that is zero. And which kind of represents zero equals one because it's the universal egg, but it's understanding that Kether is kind of unfathomable. It's too unfathomable. This is like this is like the Big Bang, right? That's the best way I put it. Like to help understand Kabbalah is to understand it. For me, what helps me understand it is to look at the Sephiroth as deities as somewhat, and not to be like this is so and so and this is that and this is so, like that's what the planets are for, but like thinking of it as a guide ways to help you describe because Kether is too unfathomable. Kether is the fathomable and unfathomable reality. You wouldn't call this God because right here is too unfathomable. You can call this God, but this is the beginning. You can say this is the Holy Spirit. Wow, this represents like father and mother. But but it's a holy trinity, but the three represents more of a child aspect, but that child aspect is more of a form of creation because Benai kind of completes not kind of, it completes the triangle because you have this whole, see, if you notice these are different. This is being understanding the above the abyss, understanding the primordial sequence of the first Sephiroths, of the first triangle, the first trinity, the first UI will give you the understanding for the rest of the tree. Because if you understand, look at two as God, because this is when God knows who he is, right? So to give you a better explanation, so first in these, well, let's click on Cather first. All right, so Cathers are all the aces. All these aces represent Cather, right? So the aces represent the roots of the four elements. They are quite above in distinct form. The other small cards, in the same way as Cather, is said to be symbolized only by a topmost point of Yod of Tetragrammaton. In these cards is no real manifestation of the element in its material form. They form a link between the small cards and the princesses who rule the heavens around the North Pole. The meridian is the Great Pyramid, and the elements rule, going eastward in the order of Tetragrammaton. Fire, water, air, earth. Thus, roughly, Aces, Princess, Wands cover Asia, covers the Pacific Ocean, soars the Americas, distant Europe and Africa. To make this relationship clear, one may go a little into the symbol of the pentagram or shield of David. It represents spirit ruling the four elements and thus the symbol of triumph of man. The idea of element and spirit is very difficult to grasp. The letter Shin, which is the letter fire, has do double duty by representing spirit as well. Generally speaking, the attributes of spirit are not clear and simple like those of the other elements. It is very remarkable that the talent of spirit in the Gnostic system is the key to all mischief. As in Hindu system, Akasha is the egg of darkness. On the other hand, spirit represents Kether. Perhaps it was never in the mind of except adept or adepts who invented the tarot to go so far into this matter. The point is remember that both in appearance and in their meaning, the aces are not the elements themselves, but the seed of those elements. So these would be the beginning, right? These would be the beginning. Ace of Wands, Ace of Cups, Ace of Swords, Ace of Discs. So these, remember, like I said, it doesn't represent the elements. These are the seeds. These are the beginning. These are the fruits, and this is what the elements come from and grow and spurt to. So Ace of Wands, right? So think of Kether is the beginning. Is the beginning. So understanding Chokma will help you understand so these are the other suits. Not the suits. Yes, the other suits, but within two, understanding Chokma. These cards refer to Chokma from the point of view of the ordinary person. Chokma is really number one and not number two because he is the first manifestation. Kether is completely concealed so that nobody knows anything about it at all. Hence, only reaching the deuces does an element appear as the element itself. Chokma is uncontaminated by any influence. Therefore, the elements here appear in their original harmless condition. Two of Wands is called the Lord of Me and represents the energy of fire, fire in its best and highest form. So so you have to really see the the connection of one, two, and three to understand four, five, and six, to get seven, eight, nine, then to completely understand 10. And I know this is just kind of seems random because I kind of just jumped all over the place with that. So this is the key aspects to remember. So these four suits are Kether, right? And these four suits represent the seeds that begin the other elements. So fire, water, air, earth. These are only the beginning. These cover the meridian, you know? So understanding that, looking at these help you perceive the other cards because understanding tarot cards, yes, understanding the meanings, understanding the symbolism, sure, whatever, that helps you get into the cards, right? But only you can interpret the cards. So, yes, understanding knowledge and foremost will help you get it, but it's also understanding that you create the definition for the cards. Because, see, the tree is just a formula. The tree is just a formula for you to create your own tree, but you have to get the tree first. You have to understand the numbers. You have to understand the meaning of the numbers, the one, the two, the three, the four. So I suggest starting with one and two. Understanding one, understanding Kether, understanding the beginning, because wands, right? They will represent Kether. Not wands, the aces, I'm sorry, represent Kether, which represents a beginning point. Does that make sense? Like, because I feel like I'm just talking a bit and I'm trying to use the diagram and everything to explain little things, but here, let's go over it. There's four trees of life based off the four elements: water, earth, fire, and air. Those are four those are the four trees of life, which connects to the four parts of your soul. So to really get into that, I have another diagram. So, ooh, ooh, I'm gonna have to pull this up. So, what would represent wands will be altus, right? That is the tree of emanation. That is fire, because fire is the spirit. Fire is the spirit. It's the eternal flame, the will. Um, hmm, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. It is the divine, not the spirit. Tree of creation would be the spirit because it gave it form. Fire would be the divine because it's something that is too uncomprehendable. Because it's like the sun is it shows great balance within the world because it shows how it's a existing fire that is one with nature, that heals it, that feeds it. So you have to understand fire is very divine, and fire is really in Greek mythology when you have Prometheus gave mankind fire, and Zeus is very upset with that. And if you need to understand, fire was wisdom, was higher knowledge. So you need to understand that fire within you is that divine, that inner within, that intuition. Cups represents that spirit, that emotion, that form to everything. Swords represents your thoughts, the formation, the psyche. Really diving in, really going into your headspace and understanding where your thought and how it's being formed, how it's being processed. And then a saya, ace of disc, will represent earth, the body, the material world, mundane. So understanding those four parts of the tree of life connects to the four parts of your soul, which is the divine, the spirit, the psyche, and the body, which is basically the four worlds of Qabbalah. And understanding these four worlds will help you understand a tree because the suits have four different worlds. The suits represent the four different worlds. So that's why when it shows you, when it shows you two, it's showing you two of wands, the two of cups, the two of swords, the two of this, because these are four different realities of your light body being viewed and showed to you, and how it's being explained, and what our reality is built up on. So, and understanding each planet within the Sephiroths helps you understand and understanding the combining letters within the Sephiroth. So understanding the paths within Sephiroth, because each Sephiroth represents energy, or represents a masculine and feminine energy. So and that's one of the main reasons why Hay was switched to the star and why Aries is Tazadi. And I'm gonna explain that real quick. So the reason why Aries and is Tazadi, because fish hook has more of a phallic and a masculine fit to Aries, to the Emperor card. And looks how it lines up to your side and high. You have the Sun card. I'm sorry. I'm trying to see what's that right here. Okay, yeah. It's the Sun card with the Emperor, and then you have Ganai and Hay.